Welcome to Justice on the Hill, a video exploring how the Heptonstall Society for the Prosecution of Felons bridged the gap between medieval law and modern policing in a West Riding village. The bloody code lacked enforcement mechanisms. Victims of felony were personally responsible for funding prosecutions and hiring constables, often enduring loss rather than risking financial ruin. The Prosecution Society bridged this gap through mutual insurance and collective action. To survive this legal vacuum, property owners invented a system of mutual legal insurance. The broken loop of individual action led to financial loss. The society loop, however, utilized annual subscriptions, a common treasury, and professional management for collective deterrence. Heptonstall was a rugged, isolated laboratory for private justice. Its defensive isolation and military heritage contrasted with its industrial vulnerability, which created a new class of manufacturers and tradesmen acutely susceptible to property damage. The rise of industrial wealth coincided with the collapse of manorial regulation. As formal regulation dissolved, the community relied on its military heritage and communal defense to protect its burgeoning industrial property, culminating in the maturation of the Prosecution Society by 1855. The valley had a legacy of organized criminality, notably the Cragvale coiners. Their activities exposed the impotence of early 18th century law enforcement. The Prosecution Society emerged as the 19th century response to this systemic lawlessness. Across England, prosecution societies tailored their focus to regional economies. The Heptonstall Society, recorded in 1855, focused specifically on industrial theft and orchard mischief, reflecting the community's economic interests. The 1855 Hawksclough apple theft demonstrates the society's use of matching funds. By matching the victim's contribution, the society ensured the victim remained financially invested while deploying enough capital to attract informants successfully. The law was viewed as an instrument for economic security rather than moral justice. Protection extended even to personal property like fruit, demonstrating the criminalization of customary appropriation to maintain industrial discipline as wage labor consolidated. Navigating the law mountains required professional agents like J.P. and W. Sutcliffe. They drafted notices, managed the treasury, and shifted the focus from 18th century shaming to 19th century sentencing, like transportation or incarceration. The annual dinner was an essential performance of class solidarity and public deterrence. It allowed men of property to unite and strategize, while publicizing their wealth and power in local newspapers to create psychological deterrence. The Prosecution Society was one facet of a broader Victorian strategy for community, improvement. It managed legal risk alongside other associations focusing on education, welfare, and philanthropy, insulating Heptonstall during the Industrial Revolution. Prosecution societies were not vigilante stopgaps, they were prototypes for modern policing. In the symbiotic era, societies provided the financial incentive through rewards, while new police forces provided the manpower for arrest. The state simply nationalized this proven model. The physical infrastructure of private justice remains visible in the village. This includes the village lockup, the Sutcliffe Archives, and the Heptonstall Museum, which houses the history of this unique legal system. The Heptonstall Society reminds us that justice has not always been a public service. For much of history, social order was a hard-won private enterprise, maintained by the grit and organization of a community that refused to be at the mercy of villains.